Hey everyone, it's Denise Brown from the Caregiving Years Training Academy. Thanks so much for being here. I am proud and honored to introduce you to two of our presenters at our upcoming conference, the Caring Conference, our Treasure Transformation. So joining me today is Bruce McIntyre. Hi, Bruce.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. And Heather Zoccali. Hi, Heather.
Hey guys.
So I just want to mention Bruce is the author of many books, including Thrive Anyway and the soon to be released Receiving Peace. When is your next book coming out, Bruce?
You know what? Soon. Deadlines seem to be elusive sometimes, but yes, very soon.
I love that. I love that. That's a wonderful deadline. Soon. And I should mention that Heather actually runs a great program, which is called the No Barriers Caregiver Program. So welcome today, Heather. It's great to see you.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. Super
So
excited to be part of it.
yeah, and Heather, you actually kick off our conference
Okay.
with your workshop, which is brutally beautiful.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Um, well, Brutally Beautiful is based kind of on my whole life story, and caregiving has been a thread. I've been a caregiver. I was a youth caregiver for my father when he had a stroke and MS when I was 9. And then I was cared for when I was sick after I had my second kiddo. And then I found myself thrust yet again into the caregiver role 7 years ago this week, actually. My son was walking to school and got hit by a hit and run driver, leaving him a T12 paraplegic. And so that uh, put me in that caregiver role like full time. And then again in 2020, when I went home to hang with my parents, they needed some help, and my father committed suicide, and my mom was in end-stage Alzheimer's. So throughout my whole life, caregiving has been that one thread. And throughout all my life, I have found that life is brutally beautiful, but seeing and creating the beautiful bits is on us. And so that's kind of where brutally beautiful comes, because I do believe life has so many, it's brutal, right? There's so many moments to suffer as human, but it's up to us to choose those beautiful parts that we can get out of it. It's not easy, it's messy, it's hard. It's much easier just to sit back and take it. But for me, being able to find those beautiful moments has just transformed my life. So it'll be based on my life story and then things we can do to get there.
So I watched some of your videos, Heather, and there was one video where you talked about forgiving that hit and run driver. And that really has stuck with me, the process of forgiveness, which actually can be this transformation, except it's a really difficult process, I think. So I'm just curious, Heather, how do you describe or define forgiveness?
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, forgiveness, caregiving, and forgiveness have been the two things in my life over and over. I think forgiveness for me, it's not condoning or forgetting what someone has done, but it's forgiving it and releasing. It's a very internal process. You have to start with yourself. Like with my son, I had to forgive myself first before I could forgive the gentleman that hit him, because we got in a big fight that morning, me and my son, and I failed epically as a mom that morning on all levels. And so I had to start with forgiving myself and knowing that that was okay. That isn't all of me. It's just a part of me, that moment. And so self-compassion, is that beginning of forgiveness. And again, it always starts internally. I have to do some work to find out that I'm worthy and I'm deserving of self-forgiveness and self-compassion. And then I move on to, forgiveness of others.
Yeah, wow. So, Bruce, you have been a part of so many of our different conferences over the years, and you also help us really reflect inward around our caregiving experience. And a lot of your work has been inspired by your own personal caregiving experience caring for your wife. So you're going to talk to us at this March conference about transformation and the 7 so far that you've experienced during caregiving. I wonder if you can give us a little teaser of what one transformation is.
Well, so these are snapshots that I'll share. And, I realized once I got into it that 7 was a rather ambitious number to fit economically into the time frame. But I have 30. I don't know how many snapshots. But I agree with what Heather just said. The path is paradoxical. The most awful things happen on the same week, the same day, the same month as some of the most beautiful things. And sometimes we only see these snapshots of transformation in retrospect, but sometimes they happen and in the moment, this is something's happening here. And so it's really a mix of both. So I'm going to go all the way back to 2004 with a couple of stories. In fact, one story I'll tell, I've told before, but to me, it might be the most powerful story for me personally in our whole 18 years of managing my wife's dermatomyositis, which has been up and down. It hasn't all been terrible. Some of it was terrible, but it hasn't all been terrible. But the one story that I'll tell for sure is about my daughter. When she was 2 years old, we were early on and we were trying to keep everything from her because we thought she's 2. How do you even talk to a 2-year-old about these things? And what we didn't realize is she was processing it through her baby doll. And we accidentally learned that one night. So I'll tell that snapshot, which for me was one of those moments that I instantly knew was transformation. And in retrospect, it has never ceased to be.
It's interesting. I have been promoting the conference online and talking about transformation. And Deb Hallisey, who's one of our certified caregiving consultants, wrote something that I just really stuck with me about transformation because I positioned this as our treasure transformations. And she wrote online about the conference, it's these transformations that are so painful during the process that later become treasures, but in the transformation, they are anything but a treasure. So I wonder what you guys think about putting those 2 words together, treasure and transformations. Heather, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful and that's right on the money. I think growth and transformation is never easy. It's always painful, just like growing pains, there's a reason for that. It's not easy, it's hard, it's difficult. You have to look at all your maybe not so great moments and do lots of self-reflection, but I think that treasure are those little life nuggets that we find that either we do find like after the transformation or during whenever, but I think transformation always has treasures in it, and it's just if you're choosing to find it.
So Bruce, what do you think about those 2 words coupled together?
Yeah. So almost invariably, it's not comfortable in the moment. It's not fun. I don't like it. I don't want to do it again. No, thank you. I would prefer to go through life and it all be smooth sailing and need no further transformation because it is painful. However, in retrospect, it is beautiful. In retrospect, and sometimes in the moment, it is good. So 18 years of caregiving related transformation for me, is it difficult? Yes. Am I better for these difficult things? Yes. Am I consistently better all the time? Probably not. But ultimately, yes, in the right direction. And so it's okay. I'm all for paradoxical couplings of words.
Okay, so I'm just curious, you both have had really extensive experiences with a personal caregiving experience, multiple caregiving experiences. What do you think you did that got you to today? Heather, what do you think?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Um, what got me to today? I think I was just talking about a friend with this before I came on this. I think I've always, because I was forced to at such a young age, had to believe in myself. Like there was no doubt that I was going to get through this, that I knew I could do it, even when it was my hardest moment. everything was, and I've never asked the question, why me? Because I mean, why not me? Right? Like, why me doesn't do much good for, at least for me personally. And so having the belief in myself and, yeah, I totally forgot what the question was. I was talking and I was like, wait, what was your question?
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
We followed you. We followed you. And you, yeah, you
I
got
was
the
like,
answer.
wait.
Yeah. Belief in yourself is what got you to today.
Yeah, belief in myself, and then knowing it's okay to fail, knowing it's okay to ask for help. And then I've always, even at a young age, took care of myself. I could feel when I was getting to that breaking moment. And even as a little kid, I would go outside and pick like 4-leaf clovers, or, think I was the queen of Mars and owned Jupiter and made my own language up. And so those things were kind of just innately with me. It's been harder, obviously, when you're full-time caregiving, or when you're sick and you're having to care. Like, there's a lot of layers on that. But belief in myself and knowing that I'm deserving of a break and care has gotten me through everything.
Bruce, how about for you?
Yeah, I really like what you were saying there, Heather. And it's, I guess the thing is that you can't help but ask the question why. You do wonder it, but honestly, at the end of the day, even if you answer why, the more important question still is what next? What now? What do I do now?
Yeah.
And so I agree with you, Heather. I try to spend minimal amounts of time on why. And I really try to focus on just, it's a new day. Every day's a new day. Every moment's a new moment. I have one time in life I can be happy. That's right now. I have one time in life that I can embrace the beauty around me, or that I can manage the difficulty. In the right now, it's usually always pretty manageable, except in extreme circumstances. But 99.9% of the time, right now, we can do it. We have enough. We can do this. And so I just also, I kind of have that innate belief. And I believe that not just for me, I believe that for other people, that you can do the next right thing. You can do the next right thing right now. You can do it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I live by, you can't change the past, but I can choose how I'm going to react to it.
And the story that we tell about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are our own storyteller. And I remind myself regularly that I can change the story in any moment.
Yeah. Denise, my off-color remark about this is that every great story has a big but. But it does, right? I see this with Parkinson patients all the time. I see this with the way we've learned to tell our story. And people never ask when it's convenient. They always ask when I'm not ready. But it's like every story is, you have this diagnosis, this medication, this treatment, this all the bad parts. It's so easy to see. But we got to the specialist, but we found the support group, but we met these people. We had no idea people could do this with this set of adversity, and so I think every great story of resilience and thriving and caregiving has a big but, and it needs to, because that's the pivot.
Or I'll take you one further. I stopped using but and I say and. This has been hard, and
There you go.
I found this. And so,
because both are true. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you hold the paradox in tension when you say and that's the truth. Yeah.
So I'm curious where you guys are in your story today.
So 18 years in, actually right now, my her health is pretty good. We always feel like we might be on the cusp of needing to transition to a new method of treatment, because most of the things we've tried, they run for a certain number of years. And then it's like there is something new, or you need to try something new. So we feel like we're potentially on the cusp of a new era. And there's always fear of, is that going to be better? Or if it's not, can we go back to what was working, even though it's working with diminishing returns? So I think we're kind of at a moment of there's still plenty of difficulty. It's not a total disaster, but we're doing what we can do right now. And so that's what it is.
Heather, how about for you?
Yeah, I think right now I feel like we're in a pretty good spot. It's a little bit it's transforming right now. It's evolving. Connor is 23. This is this week the 10th will be the 7-year anniversary. And COVID was really hard for him, but he's coming out of that and he's finding his new way, and it's beautiful to watch that. And it's hard as a mom to not like just let him, not be involved all the time. And then my mom's doing, I mean, she is, it's obviously Alzheimer's is not a beautiful thing to watch a loved one go through. And then my health is good. So I feel like we're in a good, knock on wood, at this exact moment today at 12:16, we are good. But who knows?
Yeah, I've been thinking about age as it relates, what my age is and how long I've been in the caregiving space. It's been really, my adult life has been around caregiving work. So I started to think, what's the end? And then I realized I'm just beginning, which was very energizing and very comforting. So going back to what you had said earlier, Bruce, which is, every day is a new chance. I feel like we can start a new story anytime. We can give ourselves a first chapter anytime. We can close a book anytime. And the idea that we have this choice, I find very comforting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Bruce, for those of our listeners and viewers who'd like to be in touch with you, what's your website address?
BruceMcIntyre.com.
And Bruce will be presenting midday on March 25th, and he's going to be sharing 7 transformations, although he might be changing that a little bit based on our conversation today, but his goal is to share 7. And Heather is kicking off our conference on March 25th. She's the very first presentation. And Heather, for our listeners and viewers who'd like to be in touch with you, how can they reach you?
You can reach me at nobarriersusa.org.
Okay. Thanks so much, Bruce and Heather. Great to talk with you today.
Thank you, Denise.
Lovely to meet you, Bruce and Denise.
Okay.
Thanks
and so
for everything you guys are doing.
And you as well. I think it's awesome how much energy there has been in the caregiving space. I often reflect on what it was like when I started, and that's for another podcast. But anyway, it's great to have all this energy around caregiving. Okay, so for our viewers and listeners who want to be a part of our conference, it's March 25th, and you can go to caringourway.com. We have a special group, the Caring Conference, and you can register to join as many of the workshops that day as you'd like. It's free. If you are a healthcare professional, you can earn as many as 7 CEUs, and there's more information about that on caringourway.com. For CEUs, it's a flat fee of $20. It's a great deal. So we look forward to seeing you March 25th. And thanks again to Bruce and Heather. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.